We're going to begin this hour with an author and an illustrator who's a favorite among children and the young at heart. That's a lot of us. You may not recognize the name Mo Willems, but there's a very good chance you're going to recognize this guy's work. Willems, who began his career as a writer and animator for Sesame Street, that's a good way to start, has created a series of memorable characters like Elephant and Piggy, the Naked Mole Rat, and who cannot forget Knuffle Bunny. These days, Willems is pouring most of his creative energy into his very first picture book character, the Pigeon. Jamie Wax recently caught up with him in New York's Coney Island to talk about this new book and why he's throwing that always passionate bird, the Pigeon, for a bit of a loop.
What do you think? Should we ride it? You're gonna come on with me?
As we learned recently in Coney Island,
Let me think about this. You gotta give me a moment. Okay.
author Mo Willems isn't a fan of roller coasters. But one of his characters is. A character so beloved, the Brooklyn Cyclones recently dedicated a game night to the Pigeon. No, not that pigeon. This one. It was a celebration of Mo Willems' latest book, The Pigeon Will Ride the Roller Coaster.
Every single type of animal or character has been covered in children's storytelling.
Right.
How did you land on a pigeon?
Well, the pigeon is the only character that came fully formed. I moved to Oxford, England for a month or so to write the Great American Picture Book. I sat there and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote important, meaningful stories, and this pigeon popped up in my notebook saying, "Don't write about this, it's terrible, write about me, I'm awesome." So I wrote this idea about a kid trying to stop the pigeon from driving the bus. And the pigeon said, "What do you need this kid for? I don't need a co-star. Let me star."
And star he has. Since its debut in Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus nearly 2 decades ago, the excitable bird has found his way into the pages of Willems' 67 children's books, alongside much-loved characters like Knuffle Bunny, the elephant Gerald, and his friend Piggy.
All your books feel deeply personal and deeply in the moment you create them, but I wonder how much the pigeon is really you.
I aspire to pigginess, am approaching Geraldness, and I hope I have left the pigeon behind.
Okay, that might be my favorite Mo Willems quote ever.
I can see it now in all of its roller coastery glory.
What I really loved is in the evolution of the pigeon books, they became less about telling all the rest of us what to do with the pigeon, and telling the pigeon, you have to do something you don't want to do. Like, pigeon has to go to school.
That's right.
Pigeon will ride that roller coaster right behind you.
Every pigeon book is that: wants, needs, has to, will, can't. It's all of these sort of imposed verbs on his life. Like, everything becomes a theme on that. I won't need a ticket, but I will have a ticket.
And from the first time I discovered you as a children's author, it feels as though you're getting more and more direct and economical in your storytelling.
My job, I feel very strongly, is to do 49% of the work. I'm creating the scaffolding for the kids and the adults to put in the performance, to put in the meaning, to put in the ideas. My job is to write incomprehensible books for illiterates, right?
You're speaking my language.
So, because then you bring something in. I'm in a dialogue. What I want for the grown-ups is to have a shamectomy. I actually want you to be silly, because you're my orchestra, particularly with the littles. You are the wall between the story and them, because they can't read yet. Having children, one of the blessings is it reminds you that you can be ridiculous.
And while Willems' blend of ridiculous yet profound storytelling now extends well beyond the page, the message remains the same.
True story.
Why do you think you've been so successful at translating your work to visual mediums?
I respect the audience, and I gravitate to projects that terrify me. Because that's the excitement of it.
Let me drive a bus!
I think some people want their books to be read. I want my books to be sparks. Does that make you perform? Does it make you sing? Does it make you draw? A book is not meant to be read. It's meant to be read a billion times. and it's meant to create a new environment for kids and grown-ups to create.
What a fun day at Coney Island with that guy.
Everything about him, Jamie. I gravitate to things that terrify him, incomprehensible books for illiterates, and I aspire to pigginess. I love his personality and the way that he thinks about
he
his
creates
work.
experiences. I mean, he really, when I met him, I felt like I was meeting someone my children knew and that I knew, because his books are as important in the spaces between the drawings and the words as they are in the drawings and the words. Their experiences.
Yeah. He's so right, though. Parents, as you perform for your little ones, when you read that goodnight story, you are half author of the book.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Right.
When they get complicated, there's a lot of words on the page, you're skipping through and condensing and jumping ahead.
Skipping
and
a page.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That is a major milestone.
Look, we're
when
gonna
your
have
kids
books.
notice when you skip a page.
Yeah.
We're going to have books for Luca and Eloise and little Jamie Dutier, who's on the way. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. Jamie Dutier, Gayle Dutier.
Jamie Gayle
Yep, she's
Dutier.
coming. Yeah. I love that.
That was
I thought
awesome.
he was
Jay,
terrific.
it was a wonderful profile.
Good stuff, Jay.
Thank you, Jamie.